Iran's most dangerous covert naval operation was about to seal the world's last open energy corridor, at exactly 200 hours local time, in the ink-black waters of the southern Red Sea. A 45,000-ton Panamanian-flagged bulk carrier named the MV Celestia Horizon powered through 4-knot swells at reduced speed. Its navigation lights dimmed, and its AIS transponder broadcasting a routine cargo route from Djibouti to Muscat. On the bridge, the skeleton crew received no unusual orders. But 40 meters below the waterline, in a hermetically sealed module bolted to the ship's keel, 48 Karrar-class autonomous underwater vehicles were completing final pre-launch diagnostics. Each one carried a 120-kilogram shaped charge pressure mine calibrated to the magnetic and acoustic signatures of American supercarriers. The Bab el-Mandeb Strait, the last open energy lifeline connecting Asia to Europe after Iran locked down Hormuz, was about to be permanently sealed. This was not improvisation. This was the culmination of a 6-month IRGC Quds Force maritime operation, codenamed Dirya Siya, Dark Sea. The same Quds Force units that trained Houthi naval commandos in advanced mine warfare along the Yemeni coast were now executing Iran's most ambitious asymmetric warfare strike in history. While the world's attention was locked entirely on the Strait of Hormuz, Iran's elite underwater warfare division had quietly repositioned 3 Ghadir-class Midget submarines and 2 Fateh-class attack submarines into the Red Sea via the Gulf of Aden. The MV Celestia Horizon was the trigger. Once its payload deployed, 48 autonomous mines would self-navigate to pre-programmed grid coordinates, settle onto the seabed between 80 and 180 meters depth, and lay dormant, invisible to any surface sonar sweep, until a target matching their acoustic trigger profile passed directly overhead. The USS Theodore Roosevelt carrier strike group was 40 nautical miles to the north. It had no idea it was already inside the kill box. At 215 hours, a P-8, a Poseidon maritime patrol aircraft from VP-5 Mad Fox's squadron operating from Naval Air Station Camp Le Monnier, Djibouti, intercepted an anomalous electromagnetic burst lasting exactly 1.4 seconds, originating from the Celestia Horizon's keel region. The flight crew transmitted the signal intercept to U.S. 5th Fleet Intelligence Headquarters in Bahrain. The NAVCENT duty officer ran a cross-reference against NSA SIGINT, collected 48 hours earlier fragmented encrypted burst transmissions from an IRGC Quds Force logistics node in Eritrea. The decoded fragments resolved to 3 words: launch, authorization, alpha. At 219 hours, the duty officer picked up the secure satellite phone and called Admiral Marcus Webb aboard the Theodore Roosevelt. What he said in the next 90 seconds triggered the most dangerous covert naval interdiction operation since the Cold War. If this minefield deploys fully, we are not looking at a shipping disruption. We are looking at a global economic extinction event that would cripple Operation Prosperity Guardian and strand every Allied vessel maintaining the maritime security corridor. Admiral Webb had exactly one asset in position: the USS Indiana, SSN 789, a Virginia-class Block III nuclear attack submarine running a surveillance patrol at periscope depth, 18 nautical miles southeast of the Celestia Horizon's courseline. Aboard the Indiana was an asset that had never before been committed to a live combat insertion, a combined 8-man element from SEAL Team 6's Naval Special Warfare Development Group and the Navy Experimental Diving Unit's Underwater Neutralization Team. They had been embedded on the Indiana for exactly this contingency: rapid response countermine interdiction in a denied underwater combat environment. At 224 hours, Admiral Webb transmitted a single encrypted burst to the Indiana's communications mast: execute Thunderfish. The countdown began. From this moment forward, there was no fallback option, no reserve asset, no second chance. 8 men and a single submarine were the only barrier standing between the world's remaining open energy corridor and total strategic collapse. Commander Dale Rhett, the Indiana's commanding officer, immediately drove his boat to sprint depth at 150 meters and pushed the reactor-driven propulsion to maximum quiet speed, 15 knots. The submarine's AN/BQQ-10 integrated sonar suite began constructing a 3-dimensional acoustic map of the entire Bab el-Mandeb approach corridor using passive broadband and narrowband processing for enhanced anti-submarine warfare capability. At 231 hours, the first threat contact materialized on the sonar display, a slow-moving return at bearing 275, consistent with the acoustic signature of a Ghadir-class Midget submarine operating on battery power, then a second, then a third. Iran had pre-positioned an ambush screen of 3 Midget submarines directly across the Indiana's most direct approach vector to the Celestia horizon. They were not hiding, they were waiting. At 238 hours, 2 of the Ghadir submarines activated short-burst active sonar pings, a classic bracketing maneuver, designed to compress a target into a narrow corridor and eliminate escape vectors. The message was unmistakable. "We know you are here. Come closer," and the trap closes. Commander Rhett's hands remained steady on the BYG-1 weapons control console. The Celestia horizon had 31 minutes before reaching its deployment waypoint and releasing its full payload. If those mines hit the seabed and settled into final position, the interdiction window would collapse entirely. Rhett refused the bait. He executed a full acoustic suppression protocol, adjusting the Indiana's pump jet propulsor flow pattern and venting ballast in a precise sequence that mimicked the collapse signature of a deep-water thermocline boundary, a natural oceanic phenomenon invisible to any operator not already familiar with that specific section of seabed. On the Ghadir operator's sonar screens, the American submarine appeared to simply dissolve into background ocean noise. Simultaneously, the Indiana ejected 2 AN/BLQ-11 long-endurance UUVs from her signal ejectors. These autonomous decoys immediately navigated toward the 3 Ghadir contacts, transmitting acoustic signatures precisely replicating a retreating Virginia-class submarine running northeast toward open water. Iran's entire ambush screen pivoted and gave chase. The corridor south of the Celestia horizon was clear. At 244 hours, all 8 SEAL Team 6 operators entered the water. They exited through the Indiana's forward escape trunk in full Mk-16 closed-circuit rebreather configuration, generating 0 exhaust bubbles. Navigation was entirely passive, wrist-mounted AN, PSN, 13 inertial guidance units, preloaded with waypoint data. Each operator carried a customized acoustic sensor package and 3 Mark 18 Mod, 2 Kingfish UUVs, miniature robotic scouts, capable of penetrating the acoustic shadow zone beneath a vessel's keel and transmitting live, high-definition imagery. The element divided into 2 teams. Team 1, led by Senior Chief Petty Officer Marcus Holloway, drove toward the starboard keel of the Celestia horizon at 35 meters depth. Team 2 established a wide perimeter sweep for secondary underwater contacts. At 251 hours, Team 1's lead Kingfish unit penetrated the hull shadow zone beneath the Celestia horizon and began transmitting imagery to the Indiana's control room. What every officer in that space saw caused the room to go completely silent. The sealed keel module was not a weapons bay. It was a remotely detonated demolition chamber, packed with 16 tons of military-grade RDX sufficient blast energy to generate a lethal pressure wave across 600 meters on the surface and over a kilometer underwater. The AUV launch rails had already been actuated. 48 Karrar mines were in the water, and the MV Celestia Horizon was not a delivery platform. It was a maritime suicide bomb on a direct intercept course toward the Theodore Roosevelt. Iran had constructed a 3-layer kill chain, the autonomous minefield to permanently close the Strait, the ship bomb to strike the carrier, and the Ghadir ambush screen to prevent any interdiction before the trap completed. At the same moment, the Theodore Roosevelt's SPY-6 air and missile defense radar flagged 12 high-speed surface contacts departing the Eritrean coastline at 60 knots. An IRGC fast attack boat swarm had launched the instant the Celestia horizon crossed its deployment waypoint. Their tactical purpose was explicit: force the carrier strike group into a full defensive surface posture, pulling every asset toward the visible threat while the mines settled into final position on the seabed. Admiral Webb saw the architecture of the trap clearly. He responded with surgical precision. He activated the carrier strike group surface defensive screen, directing 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers to intercept the swarm. He simultaneously ordered the Theodore Roosevelt to initiate an emergency ballast redistribution sequence, a maneuver that elevated the carrier's magnetic field signature by 340%. Senior Chief Holloway's team would recognize the signal. The carrier knows, and it is buying you time. At 258 hours, a 4-aircraft EA-18G Growler flight launched from Roosevelt's waste catapults and activated the ALQ-99F electronic warfare jamming system at maximum transmitted power. Burning across every radio frequency from 900 MHz to 18 GHz, the remote detonation uplink to the Celestia Horizon's demolition chamber was severed in under 2 seconds. The suicide ship went electronically inert, but the Karrar mines were fully autonomous. They no longer needed a command signal to complete their mission. They were hunting. Beneath the surface, Team 1 worked with methodical speed. Kingfish scouts had cataloged 23 mines already settled into final depth on the southern approach corridor. Team 1 placed AN/SLQ-60 Seafox Mod 3 anti-mine neutralization charges against the first 19 contacts, destroying each with a shape charge detonation producing no surface signature. But the mathematics were unambiguous. The team carried 24 Seafox systems. 29 mines remained armed on the seabed. The Celestia Horizon was 3 nautical miles out and closing at 7 knots. At 304 hours, Commander Rhett made the decision that would define the operation. He drove the Indiana directly into the Minefield corridor at 8 knots and activated the submarine's TB-29A towed array sonar in full active transmission mode at maximum power, a focused acoustic pulse that overwhelmed every passive sensor system within a 2-kilometer radius. The input signal exceeded the dynamic range of every Karrar mine's acoustic classifier receiver circuit simultaneously. Their arming algorithms entered safety interlock loops and suspended. All 29 remaining Karrar units froze on the seabed, dormant and harmless, victims of the one signal they could not filter. At that same moment, the 2 AN/BLQ-11 decoy UUVs completed their trajectory and led the 3 Ghadir submarines directly into the engagement zone between 2 Arleigh Burke destroyers. Both destroyers activated their AN/SQS-53C bow sonar systems simultaneously in active ping mode, transmitting acoustic energy that exceeded 240 decibels at close range. Electronic systems overloaded across all 3 Ghadir hulls. All 3 commanders performed emergency blow procedures and broached to the surface within 90 seconds, exposed, defeated, and fully visible to every sensor platform in the strike group. By 311 hours, the IRGC fast attack swarm, severed from its coordination data link by the Growler's jamming envelope, scattered and reversed course. The Celestia Horizon drifted dead in the water under the weapons lock of 2F, A-18F Super Hornets from VFA-2. The 48 dormant Karrar mines were marked with GPS locator buoys for daylight sweep operations by the USS Scout Mine Countermeasures vessel. At 317 hours, all 8 SEAL Team 6 operators cycled back through the Indiana's escape trunk. They said nothing. Iran had constructed the most sophisticated asymmetric maritime strike package ever deployed in the Red Sea theater. 3 interlocked simultaneous kill chains, architected to overwhelm any single defensive response. The IRGC had spent 6 months and hundreds of millions of dollars building a trap that was, by every standard of conventional naval doctrine, inescapable. But they had underestimated the one variable that no algorithm can measure. 8 operators with 0 radar, 0 active sonar, 0 weapons beyond demolition charges, small enough to carry on their backs, and 0 hesitation to swim forward directly into the dark. The Bab el-Mandeb remained open. The global energy supply remained intact. Operation Prosperity, Guardian's multinational maritime coalition, could continue securing the critical shipping lanes. And somewhere beneath the Red Sea, a Virginia-class submarine turned north and disappeared back into the deep. Iran did not close the Strait tonight. They only confirmed the one truth they most feared, that in the dark, where their sensors see nothing, American operators are already there. Do you believe there is any underwater threat that U.S. Navy Special Operations cannot neutralize? Let us know in the comments below. If this classified tactical breakdown changed the way you understand modern naval warfare, hit the like button and subscribe, because the next operation has already started the moment you think this one is over.